We start with something that is helpful for you. Support today for the show comes from ZBiotics. Now, I have to tell you about this stuff. It is a game changer. It's called pre-alcohol. And look, if you've been out with friends, you had a couple of drinks, and you woke up the next morning wondering what hit you, well, this one is for you. Here's how it works. It's called ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink. It is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to break down the toxic byproduct in your gut that causes those rough mornings. It's not dehydration. It's not drinks, but it is that toxic buildup that does this. Pre-alcohol handles it before it becomes a problem. Now, I first tried it a night out with friends in New York, big dinner, lots of laugh. Too many glasses of wine, et cetera, et cetera. The next morning, I had a show to tape, and I felt fantastic. So I felt clear-headed, ready to go. That's when I was sold on this. And you know, football season is here. Tailgates, game nights, you name it. So take ZBiotics before drinking and feel great the next day. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon and get 15% off of your first order with the code LEMON. They even back it with a 100% money-back guarantee. That's zbiotics.com/lemon for 15% off. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. A little bit late, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if you can see this. If you look above my head, that is the Senate television. I am in the bowels of the Senate here. And so you see the Senate television on. We are here covering what's happening in Washington. They only have 2 weeks until the government shuts down. And so we are reporting on that. We are here. We're talking. We're going to continue to interview folks as well. Congressmen and senators, lawmakers in your capital, and also speaking to the average American about what is happening. What is happening right now, it is some unfortunate fallout from the unfortunate, untimely death of Charlie Kirk.
Oh no, I'm going to bring you in, Tara, because Don is having issues.
Hey guys, I'm joining Don today, and he's, like he said, in the bowels of the Senate. And as a former Hill staffer, I get it that the internet is a little wonky down there. So I'm going to jump in and cover while Don's tech gets squared away. As he was saying, the fallout from the Charlie Kirk murder is ongoing. And the thing about it is that the reaction from Republicans and trying to demonize all, political dissent and some of the inflammatory language coming out of the other side is problematic. And yet people who are pointing out Charlie Kirk's legacy here are getting punished for it. And the question about this, the controversy around this is something I think that everybody needs to talk about, because this, and I know for me, the lionizing of him is a problem. And I know that Don wants to talk more about that. He's got some clips, some of Charlie Kirk's own words that warrant discussion. There's been some excellent commentary now that it's been almost a week since the tragic murder of him, and no one is condoning that. And I think it's absurd that we have to keep saying that. Clearly, no one is condoning the violence against him or violence, political speech. Like, no one is condoning that. And the conflation of being critical of his legacy and how he, the things that he advocated, and conflating that with somehow saying we're celebrating his murder is just intellectually dishonest. And frankly, it's demagoguery. MAGA is using this. And we're not gonna fall for it. It's not okay. We need to make sure we are clear about the differences here, because we all know that if it was the other way around, that we all know how MAGA would be handling this, and not, and so it's not fair. But the thing that we're watching right now, that is Kash Patel, the FBI director, which I still pains me to say that this guy is leading the FBI. But he was on the Senate side yesterday testifying. Now he's on the House side testifying in front of the Judiciary Committee. And I really hope that the Democrats on the House side, and given who's on that committee, I think that they're going to be a lot more aggressive than they were on the Senate side. Senator Cory Booker stood out yesterday and, handed Kash Patel his ass on a few things. And that exchange got a lot of attention, and it should have. I would have liked to have seen some more fire from Democratic senators, given the plethora of things that they could have gone after Kash Patel for, particularly in this moment, because they gave him a pass during the confirmation hearings. It was very frustrating. This guy is a zealot, wacko, January 6th enabler, election denier. He wrote a children's book about Donald Trump being the king. Okay. He is the sycophant. If sycophant was personified, it would be Kash Patel. And the fact that this guy is the director of the FBI and being treated with the same level of respect as other FBI directors is nuts. Like, it's nuts. It normalizes him. And so I hope now, after him being in this job, screwing this up, decimating the FBI, give some inspiration maybe to the Democrats to finally expose the American people to who this freaking guy really is. And this is the place to do it. He's arrogant.
Tara.
He thinks he can get away with it, and he needs to be cut down to size and shown who he is. Hi, Don. Are you back?
Hi, I just want to make sure that you can hear me. Yeah, we're having connectivity issues, probably because we're in the bowels of the Senate. You would think that our government should be able to afford better Wi-Fi than we have right now. But thank you for jumping there. You can still hear me, correct?
Yes, I can hear you. You're still a little spotty, but I can hear you. And if you fall out again, I've got your back.
I want to move on, because we're going to Kash Patel, and you saw what happened on the Senate side yesterday, which is where we are now, and now this is happening on the congressional side. But what I want to talk about is the fallout from everything that's going on in the world, including what Kash Patel is getting questioned about, and also Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you saw what Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote. I'm not sure if you saw that. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a scathing, actually, I don't know if it's scathing, but I would say an illuminating article about Charlie Kirk and why people have issues with him and what is going on with Charlie Kirk. And he said, before he was killed last week, Charlie Kirk left a helpful compendium of words, one that would greatly aid those who sought to understand his legacy and import. It is somewhat difficult to match these words with the manner in which Kirk is presently being memorialized in the mainstream discourse, which I agree with. No one is saying that Charlie Kirk should have been shot. Any of those, quite the opposite. And I think purposely people are, especially on the right, and people who are capitalizing, quite frankly, on his death, are trying to twist that, and they don't understand the nuance. Okay, so I want to talk about his words. I want to give people an understanding, especially those on the right and some of the MAGA folks who are watching, why some people take issue with the way he is being memorialized now. New York Times columnist Ezra Klein dubbed Kirk one of the most effective practitioners of persuasion, and a man who was practicing politics in exactly the right way. California Governor Gavin Newsom hailed Kirk's passion and commitment to debate, advising us to continue Kirk's work by engaging with each other across ideology, spirited discourse. Atlantic writer Sally Jenkins saluted Kirk, claiming he argued with civility and asserting that his death was a significant loss for those who believe engagement can help bridge disagreement. The mentions of debate and engagement and references to Kirk's campus tours, during which he visited various colleges to take on whoever come may. This aspect of Kirk's work would be attractive to writers and politicians is understandable. And then he goes on to say, but wait, there's more. And the wait, there's more comes in the form of how he carried on those debates, whether he was being completely honest in his discourse and the way that he argued and talked about and spoke with those he was debating. Now, I want to play an exchange for you for people to understand what folks are talking about here, okay? So this is a football player, white football player on TikTok, and I would just want you to hear, these are people who are young people. I'm not disparaging these people. I'm just saying they're young. When you're in college, your brain is not fully developed. They are getting their information from podcasters and people like Charlie Kirk, and not necessarily reliable, factual sources. And then I want to play the rebuttal to that. But this is similar to what Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote about in Vanity Fair in his essay. These are football players, college students, talking about, or one of them is a football player, why they were attracted to Charlie Kirk. Here it is.
Do you guys feel like Charlie was like a hateful person?
No, not at all. No. And if I may interject on your last one there.
I just wanted to ask.
Yeah. I think a lot of his message, very similar to MLK, was civil discourse. Being able to talk with one side, whether or not they agreed or disagreed. It was getting those points across and seeing where each other was coming from.
He's quoted MLK a ton of times, and the most frequently thing he's called is a racist. Why would a racist quote?
Why do you feel like people may interpret anything he says as racist?
Huh?
Why do you think people may interpret him as a racist or
Well,
as
number
a
one,
racist?
because he's white, and number two, because he talks about divisive issues like race, which can divide people, but you have to have an open mind to see the truth of things.
Do you think he ever uses any incorrect statistics or says anything that might be inherently stereotypical
Rarely,
that
though,
might,
also.
Come off as racist to some people?
The statistics
can't be
Not statistics. I meant things that are like stereotypical. Like he would
Well, like what?
kind of he would make generalizations about race, but
Like what?
things that weren't necessarily true. I'm just kind of asking, just to get your opinion.
Okay. I think stats are. It's impossible for stats to be racist because if you look at it.
Well, there are some statistics that aren't true that in the past I can't pull them up right now because obviously I'm recording.
We have to pull them up, but like what topic was it?
I believe it was about the crime rate. It was an old statistic that he used that was
Like race-wise, or?
I believe so.
Okay, I mean, I'm from California. I'm from an hour outside of LA. I play football here. I'm not this like guy that just grew up around white people, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Oh no, I don't have any opinions.
It's not a race thing. 13% of the population is black people. They commit 55% of murders. So I don't. Okay, around 50, more than 50% from 13% of the population. So it's not a race thing. It's a heart and mind problem, regardless of what your race is. But unfortunately, people that grow
What do you
up,
mean a heart and mind problem?
the people that murder people and commit crimes have a heart and mind problem.
Black
So-
people have a heart and mind problem?
Anybody.
I'm just trying to figure out where we're
But
correlating
I'm
this
saying
image.
when over 70% of black homes in America are fatherless, you have a big problem. That's a big problem. I think if you have fathers in the home, sons respect parents, because if you don't have a father, you don't respect authority. You can't respect anybody if you don't have a father figure. So it's not black people, it's a culture problem, and unfortunately it is in the black community, and it's not the only evil in the country. But unfortunately that gets blown up. It's like, oh, they're talking about black people, it's racist, but in reality it's just a statistic. When people say like, do you like black people, it's like, I like good people. There's loser white people, there's loser Mexicans, there's loser black people. I'm not going to say I like all black people, because it's not true. I don't like all white people. I like good people. I'm against evil people. I don't hate evil people, but I want to correct them and be like Jesus and say, hey, you're in the wrong. I'm going to say it in a loving way, but I'm not just going to sit by and watch you do evil things. I'm going to call you out in truth and love.
Oh, man. Don, do you want me to respond?
So here's the thing, that I'm on a little bit of a delay here. The
Okay.
issue is that, again, I don't want to disparage these kids, right? Because they are kids and they
Yeah.
are young.
Yeah.
But it leads, but also they are very impressionable. And I want to get your take on it real quick before I play the response. Tara, what do you say?
So, propaganda is a hell of a drug, and you can whitewash things and make them and for impressionable young people who haven't fully studied history and don't fully understand the context of a lot of these things. So it's very easy to grab onto some of these overall themes that to them makes perfect sense. Now, I came from that world, and there was a time where I would have made similar arguments as a college student without understanding the full context of it like I do now, And so some of these things, they use them to further very stereotypical memes, racist memes, that the black criminality part of this, the fatherless home part of this, the whole, he quotes from MLK, he can't possibly be a racist. What they're leaving out is a whole plethora of things. How Charlie Kirk disparaged Martin Luther King, says he doesn't deserve a holiday, said that, you know, Clarence Thomas and Thomas Sowell were more worthy of being role models than Martin Luther King, that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. And he says it all the time, how Black folks were better off in the 1940s. You know, Jim Crow, no civil rights, no Voting Rights Act, no Brown versus Board of Education for, you know, equality in education. He particularly uses the 1940s because, oh, well, there were more Black families together. The rate of single parent homes wasn't the same. This is stuff that I would have challenged them back and asked them, are you okay with that? Do you think the Civil Rights Movement Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Do you think Black folks are better? Like, but you can't, but these kids, they don't know any better. They don't know. And Charlie Kirk would prey on that. So the power dynamic of him being debating in good faith, that's bullshit, because he was in a higher power, you know, a different power dynamic than these college student kids in a lot of the environments. And so they're impressionable. You put him against someone equal, he would get his ass handed to him. And he would also get very upset about it. I mean, when you would challenge him.
Well, it did happen though. Some of the college students actually challenged him and did hand it to him. But I want to play, because I don't want to get too far from what he said, where they talked about 50% of the murders and Black population and what's happening, and, you know, with Black psyche and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of context that's not there historically. Right. Well, why?
That's what happened? I want to play this. Garrison Hughes gives context, and then we can talk about it. Here's Garrison Hughes. I want you guys to listen to it very closely, because without even seeing this, Garrison has put together something that's very succinct and that makes people think about whether what Charlie Kirk talked about, whether it was an
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are Black.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay. Let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are Black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is Black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the Black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates them? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong. The word "so" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes.
He's saying "so" as in therefore, as in one could conclude, but Charlie knows he's lying. Even if he hadn't just lied about the Black prison population, Charlie is smart enough to know that correlation does not equal causation, but he's hoping that you don't know that. So he deploys the word "so" to make you think he's coming to an obvious conclusion.
Exactly.
So Blacks
Instead, he's making an illogical, racist leap. Charlie knows that we don't have usable data about who commits crimes. It's impossible to have that data since so many crimes go both unreported and or unsolved. Charlie knows that we only have data about arrests and convictions. I'll come back to that data in a moment. What's painfully obvious is that Charlie Kirk isn't interested in understanding the statistics he so carelessly misquotes. He's interested in making bad faith arguments, something that becomes even more obvious in his next point.
Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Wrong again, and loud this time. If Charlie were interested in honesty, he would have mentioned the other 1350 statistic. Yes, Black people are about 13% of the population, but make up 53% of all criminal exonerations. In fact, Black people make up 55% of all murder exonerations specifically. Black people are more likely than any other group in this country to be convicted of crimes they did not commit. And then people like you have the nerve to parade these stats around as though they prove something. The reality is that you probably know these stats, but you leave them out on purpose, because to bring that stat into this conversation would make some people think. And that's the last thing a person like you wants.
That's right.
And therein lies the argument, and I think is the evidence of why some people are conflicted about and wondering why someone like Kirk is being given the Presidential Medal of Freedom being compared to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. Or the fact that NFL teams were doing tributes to him. And shout out to my home team, New York Giants, for saying, no, sorry, we're not doing that. Or my home county in New Jersey, Bergen County, saying, no, we're not lowering our flags to have staff for him. Like, this is nuts. And I think the majority of the American people, a lot of people don't even know who the hell Charlie Kirk is. Let's just be honest. If you're not in the political world, you don't, most people are like, who's this guy? That's number one. So they're
Tara,
elevating
I said
him.
that and I got excoriated. They're like, more people knew who who Charlie Kirk was and Don Lemon. I'm like, that's not my argument. That could very well be true.
I don't know about that.
That's not the point.
Yeah, it's not the point. I'm just saying that,
Right.
like, a lot of folks only maybe have a casual understanding of who he is.
Right.
He's just like the young conservative guy, the college
Right.
campus guy.
Right.
But Charlie Kirk has said some really, really awful things. And this idea, the fact that Ezra Klein and folks like that, even I'm disappointed in Gavin Newsom for all of them just saying, well, he's just engaging in civil discourse. It's just about free speech debate. It's not. That is not just what he was doing, because they are bad faith arguments. And I'm glad that you played that, the counter to some of those crime statistics, so that people can see an example that that's just one. Let's not even talk. We haven't even gotten into his views on women.
Yeah.
I mean, what he has said about women go to college to get an MRS degree, a Mrs. degree. What are we in 1940 again, 1930s, 1950, where women are only good because they're birthing vessels and they should be they should submit to their husbands? That's what he believes. Charlie Kirk comes from a very dangerous Christian nationalist ideology that pushes tropes about the role of women submitting to their husbands and having children, and that's what they're for. He said that women, that their brains don't function the same if they're on birth control. He said he has said things about Black women, about being morons, about Ketanji Brown Jackson not being qualified for the Supreme Court, that she's only a DEI, and that with Black women in positions of power are only there because they replaced a white person. He said this. How do we know? Because it's all on tape. If you listen to his podcast, which God bless my creative director at Seneca Project, Michelle Kinney, for spending hours doing this. Seneca Project has a compilation video coming out later today that strings together a whole bunch of these things of Charlie Kirk's own words. You don't have to take it from us. He said it unapologetically. So, so we're excoriated for pointing out what he actually said. And people like Scott Jennings and, getting their righteous, sanctimonious attitudes about how, Charlie Kirk was a mainstream conservative, mainstream. If that's mainstream conservatism, then you wonder why people like me and others have left the Republican Party in the dust, saying, I don't want any parts of that. Because if that's mainstream, then every Republican who claims it's mainstream, every team, every agency that wants to memorialize him should have to answer for Charlie Kirk's positions. Then if that's what they believe, then own it, because he's more than just some campus debater.
It's okay. Thank you for that. When you say Scott Jennings, this is Scott Jennings from CNN that
Yes.
you and I used to work. I haven't watched CNN, but is he out there saying this stuff?
Yes, Scott Jennings every night on CNN, because that he's the main MAGA guy over there. Very angrily said how Charlie Kirk is mainstream and that he's not an extremist, and that we're all very upset about his murder because he represents us. Okay, I mean, then the retort should have been on that panel. If I had been there, I would have gone down a list like I just did of things that controversial things that Charlie Kirk has said, and say, is this what you believe? Is this what you believe? Is this what you're saying is mainstream? I mean, Abby Phillips' show should have had a supercut.
He's on the Abby Phillips show.
Of course. Having a supercut of some of the most controversial things that he has said, that Charlie Kirk has said, and I would have come right back around and said, so is this what you're saying is mainstream conservatism now, Scott? And this is what you believe? And put him on the defensive, make him defend it, because he's so in your face about, oh, well, they're coming for us. All the conservatives that go on that show now are saying, well, we're so upset because this is the attack on us. And the left wing, this is what they come after us for just having beliefs about free speech. And oh, no, you're being criticized for that stuff. for things. That's just a fraction of what you showed. That's just a fraction of the stuff that Charlie Kirk is out here saying and has been saying for 10 years now. I mean,
Tara,
he believes in white replacement theory.
we have some of the things that he has said, but I understand, Tara, that you're going to turn into a pumpkin because
you've got me for 7 more minutes.
Okay.
I have another interview at 11 to talk about this. Actually,
okay, well, then let me do this, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk, and we'll play some of the evidence. This is a word from our sponsors. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Here it is. Support for today's show comes from Shopify, the commerce platform that helps turn your what ifs into why nots. Now, when we started this show, it was just a dream and it was on paper, but Shopify helped turn that dream into a reality. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and 10% of all US e-commerce. You don't have to be a tech genius. They have helpful, ready-to-go website templates, AI tools to help write product descriptions, create discount codes, and even run email campaigns to find customers. And when that first sale comes in, you're gonna hear it. That ka-ching. And believe me, that sound never gets old. So whether it is a side hustle or your next big thing, give it your best shot with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon, and start turning those ideas into action. Thanks to our sponsors. Hey, Tara, so are you sure right? Do you have right at 11 o'clock? Do I have time to play a 4-minute video or not?
Yeah, you can play it.
Okay, all right, because I want you can react in real time. If you want to pause, you can tell me to pause. This is Charlie Kirk, his exchange with a black student who is talking about a hate crime that he said happened to him, what he believes is a hate crime that happened to him, but then watch Charlie Kirk's reaction. He doesn't believe the young man. Here it is.
Hi, Charlie. How are you? Good. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory on myself. I'm Jaden Clark. I'm a student here. Freshman year, I was hate crime 5 times in one night. Okay, 3 of them by Trump supporters.
What happened to you?
Okay, for one of them, I was just walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me, MAGA apparel, everything, you know. And then
Did they say this is MAGA country?
Anyways, they drove past me and they were like, "F you, nigger, bend over."
So they said the N-word on campus to you.
Well, yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Oh really? Okay. So maybe it didn't happen.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't believe you. I'm being honest. I don't believe you. I think you're making it up.
Okay. Anyways,
I refuse to believe that somebody on this campus would go around and sheepishly call you the N-word. I refuse to believe that. I think you're lying.
Anyways, next instance, they threatened to rape me and then just drove off.
Hold on. So a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
All in one night?
All in one night, sir.
I think you're making this up.
Okay, that's fine.
But what evidence do you have for this? Do you have like corroborating witnesses? Do you have cameras? Do you have license plate numbers? Because now we're talking about crimes. Threatening to rape you is an intent of a crime. Did you go to the police? You file a police report? You hire an attorney? You sue the school? Did you go to the civil rights office? Do you file a civil rights complaint? Did you do any of that? Because you should.
Okay.
No, did you? Tell me. Yes or no?
I did not, but
Why?
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, but you're coming in front of 2,000 people to say it. Why did you
Right.
not go to the university and say this happened?
Okay, because how would I report them?
Anyone. There's
Who would I
hotlines
report?
all over this campus. You guys have nothing but like, if something happens to you, I think you're making this up. I think you're doing this to try to make a point.
Okay.
I don't think there's any evidence.
I can promise you, God as my witness, I am not. Anyways.
No, but seriously, why don't you today commit? Let's do this. I'm going to show you the university official, and why don't you go file a Department of Education complaint, and let's find these terrible people that did this to you. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think about
and by
that.
the way, we'll be able to look at security camera footage, and we'll see.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But you didn't do that.
Can I try
though.
to finish?
You'll think about it. Hold on. Why wouldn't you want to do that immediately?
Okay, you go. Because I think if he was trying to make a point out of it, he would have reported it, but go on.
People need to understand that's like shaming rape victims. You know, well, why didn't you go and report it right away? Why didn't you, There's so many elements that go into something like that. And how dare he question that young man's experience and what happened to him as if his life and his experience isn't valuable, that it's not credible. It is. I see the comment. He was bullying him. He was bullying him instead of taking a step back and entertaining the possibility that, well, you know what? There are horrible people that do this every single day. He's a white dude. He's not on the other end of being called the N-word or being called those kinds of things that young man went through. You know, he wouldn't even entertain that that's a possibility, which is, again, is bad faith, because we all know this happens every day to people, every single day. So to be that dismissive, again, it's dishonest. Instead of showing compassion, he shows contempt. And that is everything that Charlie Kirk represented. That's the attitude he would bring to all of those types of debates. So, you know, just because he didn't report it, you know what happens a lot of times? People aren't believed and they're scared to, especially if you're a young Black gay man on a college campus. I'm assuming do we know where he was? Was he in the South?
I don't know which university it was. Producers, do you know, Peter?
Yeah, I'm just curious where he was, because if it was in the South, that's even worse.
I don't off the top of my head. I don't off the top of my head. Sorry.
Right. So like we all know the attitudes, right? It's a little different, especially when it comes to race and sexuality. So like this is the kind of stuff, and people, it's such a missed opportunity because the mainstream media continues to just ignore the Charlie Kirks. Like they should be showing. It's far enough away now where, again, we've all condemned the political violent act of killing him. No one is celebrating that. And the people who are, they should be criticized for that. But being critical of how Charlie Kirk lived his life and his legacy is not celebrating his death. I can't, and the media is too scared because all of these MAGA people are now swallowing up mainstream media companies, that they're scared to death to be honest about Charlie Kirk. And they need to. The American people need to be challenged. Are you okay with lionizing and making this guy a martyr?
Oh, okay, but what about, for me, it is the hypocrisy on freedom of speech. It seems to be exactly the opposite of what they say they believe in, what Charlie Kirk said he believed in.
Yes, I know. And when Pam Bondi and Steve Miller and J.D. Vance come out now using this as an excuse to threaten left-wing and democratic organizations and people like ours at the Seneca Project, people like you, Don, as an independent media person, anyone that comes out and is honest about what's happening as hate speech and that's prosecutable. First of all, no, it isn't. Even if it was hate speech, which it's not, it's protected under the First Amendment. And they cannot come after you for that. That's not illegal. And Charlie Kirk would be the first person to say that. So you've seen a weird kind of agreement for both people on the left and the right that are saying like, whoa. Political dissent is not hate speech. But Stephen Miller, who is hateful, a ghoul, monster, Pam Bondi, who is a shameful attorney general who should know better, and J.D. Vance spending hours saying, you know, as God is my witness, we're going to go after these people. They are falsely putting this under the guise of political violence, and it's not, because they're looking to squash and silence dissent. That is not democracy. And we can't be afraid. We can't. We are living in some scary times, Don. No, like, let's be honest here, because the full faith and power of the U.S. government is coming for all of us. Yeah. These people are not honest brokers. They are not pro-democracy people. They are pro-fascist authoritarians, and they are turning our government into this. And we cannot. The American people can't sit back and just be okay with it. We can't, or we're going to lose it. Yeah.
Tara Setmayer, thank you. I appreciate you joining us. See you soon. And while I am here, we need to hang out. Thank you. Thanks, Tara. The great Tara Setmayer. And by the way, Tara Setmayer, Tara is a former Republican. And she said there were times where she would have made the same argument that Charlie Kirk had made and some of those students had made in what they were trying to argue about black crime, black on black crime, and what the stats are and what is and what isn't. So Tara knows from experience, and she has worked here on the Hill as well. Now I want to show you. I just want to play one more thing as it relates to Charlie Kirk. And this video takes place at a Starbucks, and I believe it is it Charlie Kirk? A conservative barges into the Starbucks and bullies a minimum wage worker to write Charlie Kirk on her cup. Here it is.
You want 2, honey? 2? Okay. Hi, let me get a grande mint majesty with 2 honeys.
Let me ring you up over here, okay?
Okay. Oh, that's it.
Perfect. What was the name for the order? Or actually, what do you need a name?
The name is Charlie Kirk.
We can't do political names, but it didn't even ask for a name to begin with, so it's going to be $3.75, okay?
Oh, but can you write the name on the cup?
The sticker won't print.
Oh, you can't write on it?
I could, but I could write Charlie.
Why can't you write the whole name?
Because it's political.
Political?
Yes, yeah. Let me start your key, okay? And it's going to be $3.75 today.
You know what? Forget it. I don't want it.
I mean, that's what we're dealing right now in the culture. And so what is it? Just write Charlie on the cup. But she said it's political. There are things, if you go on to artificial intelligence or AI, there are things that the AI will not produce if it is deemed political. And I'm sure Starbucks has their policy. It is a business. They are free to run their business in whatever manner they want to run. And someone can't be bullying someone about writing something that's political on a coffee cup. And why does it matter? What's the point? Because you want it on social media and you want clout and you want clicks on your social likes on your social media? Look what I did at the Starbucks. And that's the problem. A lot of these young kids are getting their information from social media and from sources that aren't really nuanced and that doesn't really believe in honest debate. Now, besides the free speech debate here about what should be allowed to be said and what shouldn't, remember, hate speech, according to the U.S. Constitution, there's no hate speech. People can say, or at least it is protected by the First Amendment. And now all of a sudden the Trump administration and conservatives or Republicans now want to ban certain types of speech unless it reaffirms their political beliefs. That's not only hypocritical, it is antithetical to democracy and to the U.S. Constitution. And it goes against everything that they have said that they believe in. Let's talk about the facts, because they're putting out information that is not factual. You heard my exchange. If you didn't, or if you did not, let me know, and we'll play it. Just get it, producers, if you haven't. You've heard my exchange yesterday with Nancy Mace about putting out disinformation from not only her, but from the highest office in the land, and then trickling down to the vice president, the attorney general, the head of the FBI, and on and on and on, about the left being responsible for political violence, that it is mostly on the left. None of the stats show that. This is The Economist, a political chart from The Economist, and here's what it shows. It shows, if you look at it, that most of it comes from where? The right. The left is black, Islamist gray, and the right in red. The ideologies behind political violence in America, criminal cases involving political violence by ideology. Are you looking at it? The numbers don't lie. These are the ones, and then the ones with the asterisk are the ones that are resulting in a guilty verdict. And this is from September 4th of this year. The source is the Prosecution Project. We showed this from the Anti-Defamation League. We also showed one from the Cato Institute. This is the Cato Institute. We can show that to you now. Politically motivated violence is saying it is rare in the United States. But this is from the Cato Institute, showing the difference between right and left. And you can see the numbers. There are the numbers right there. Okay? The Cato Institute also releasing something that says that politically motivated violence in the United States is rare. And so sometimes we over-index on these things, and I can see why we're doing it when you have a figure such as Charlie Kirk, who has espoused political rhetoric and built his career on politics. You can see why people are focused on this now. But to keep the perspective, do we have the politically motivated violence is rare from the Cato Institute? That's not it. This is a Time magazine that's showing political murders.
No, Don, sorry, that was published in Time, but that is the Cato Institute data.
And the Cato Institute is the one that I sent this morning on politically motivated violence being rare in the United States. I sent it twice. And this is the map of the extremist murders that you just saw, and that's from Time magazine. Now, there are other figures who are out there who are, I don't know if you want to call them a credible source. I'm not sure exactly what you want to call it. This is the one that murders politically motivated. Can we go back to the headline on this? So this is a Cato at Liberty. Politically motivated violence is rare in the United States. And if you actually read the article, you'll see how the United States is different. Although it should not happen anywhere. It shouldn't happen in America at all compared to other countries. So we are animated over an issue that we should be in the moment. But we also need to have some proportionality and some nuance about what goes on in this country. Where we over-index is gun violence. And gun violence spans all different demographics, all different statistics, all different everything. Most of the things that have to deal with violence in this country has to do with guns. And what is different about us than any other country? Every country has people who have mental health issues. Every country, there are people who have problems. Every country has people who are angry. Some countries even have war. And some of those countries, we have more violence in our country related to gun deaths, that are connected to gun deaths, than in some places that are really bad places that are in tumult. And that's because of what? The proliferation of guns. That's the conversation that we should be having right now, but we are not, because the right is pushing a narrative that you must blame someone in order to, I guess, prove a point. That's not true. I'm not exactly sure the reason why. Do you think it's worth it to even give shine to this next person who attacked us? I'm not even sure it is, producers. You tell me what you think. Bueller? Anybody?
I don't love to give them any airtime.
To give her any airtime? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't then. So look, we are on the Hill, and we're getting ready to go do our work around Capitol Hill, in the Senate, in the Congress, around Washington, D.C., and I hope that you'll tune in for our lives today, because we will be doing the same today as we have been other days, bring it to you live, as much as we can live. You got to see what happened with Nancy Mace live yesterday. Do we have any of, I guess before we do that, I need the Nancy Mace stuff. But listen, can you please, give me 1 minute. We're going to get a break in for our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with the rest of the show. Here it is. Support comes from Mint Mobile. I have to be honest with you. I used to be the king of procrastinating. I kept saying, I'll find a cheaper phone plan someday. And then we saw here at the Don Lemon Show, we saw the Mint Mobile deal, 50% off unlimited premium wireless. And finally, that did it for me. Here's the thing. Mint Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data for just $15 a month on the same 5G network as the big carriers. I didn't have to, you won't have to get a new phone or a new number or contacts or any of that. Bring all of it with you. The switch is easy. The service is crystal clear. And my team has been trying it. They've had zero issues so far. So 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. Right? That is a no-brainer. But hurry, this deal ends September 22nd. So go to mintmobile.com/DonLemon. That's mintmobile.com/DonLemon. Stop procrastinating and start saving with Mint Mobile today. Thanks to all of our sponsors. So much to our sponsors. So we're headed out on the Hill. I'm going to play a little bit of it just so you can see what we're doing here and what the transparency that we're trying to bring to these issues, what's happening in the country. Remember, they only have 2 weeks. They don't really have that to keep the government funded. But this is an example of trying to peel back the curtain so you can see how things work and what journalism should be happening here in Washington. Here it is, Nancy Mace.
These are simply facts. Tyler Robinson was radicalized. People who are part of the transgender community or support it have been radicalized.
Where are the facts on that they've been radicalized?
All the death threats that I get. I have folks from the transgender community, at least one, who's sitting behind bars without bail. Most of the death threats I'm getting right now are from people who support the transgender community or are transgender themselves. These are people who are attacking a rape victim, me, for not wanting men in the shower next to me or men in the bathroom next to me. These people want to kill me because I want to be safe when I want privacy, for women to have privacy as a rape victim. It is sick, it is twisted, and enough is enough.
You actually have the evidence of
yes,
that?
of course. Yeah. I back Don, you guys should know me by now. I have all the receipts. I back everything up that I say. I know you guys want to call us liars and fascists and all that, but I'm not.
No,
I'm not at all.
I don't want to call.
You filmed me while I had a panic attack. You literally had your camera out.
And I respected you. What did I do? Did I show it?
Exploit that.
Yes.
You didn't. But
I didn't.
I'm just saying, you're there to get your clicks or whatever. I'm not. I speak the truth, and I keep all the receipts. These people are out. We played some of the voice messages that we're getting.
Okay, let me ask you this. What do you say to the Republicans or the Trump supporters who have been a part of political violence, and to the stats?
I've always spoken up against Republicans and Democrats. I've called the balls and strikes. I'm probably one of the only members of Congress that has called the balls and strikes on both parties. I've done it my entire career, and I've gotten in trouble for it. I've gotten praised for it, whatever. I'm going to call the balls and strikes always.
Here's what I think the issue is. I think the issue is that they think that, please, let me just finish up my thing. I think the issue is that you guys are saying that it mostly happens on the left. No statistic, no government statistic, no study group, the Cato Institute, the Anti-Defamation League, the FBI, no government statistic shows what you're saying. It's showing the exact opposite, that 60 to 75% of the political violence is committed by people on the right. But yet you, the president, the vice president, the Attorney General of the United States are giving false information to the American people that it only happens on the left and that it is.
False information about Republicans. You guys have called.
But there's no facts to what you're saying.
Kamala Harris called us fascists while she was running for president.
The president called her fascist as well.
And you in the media have amplified that. You all have done that. A man was killed last week for having the, quote, national conversation that you want to have so peacefully. He did that, and he was murdered for it. And I live under.
You don't know if that's true. You don't know what you don't know what the motivation is. Do you have evidence of that?
Well, they said on the bullets there was fascist commentary on the bullets, pro-transgender commentary on the bullets. Don't give me the bullshit that
could very well be so, but we don't know if that's true right now.
Was it transgender? Was it? Come on, let's be honest about this.
That's disrespectful.
Republicans vote to table.
I really don't care because there are a lot of out there that want me dead because I'm a rape victim who wants privacy in the bathroom. The can F off. I don't care. They want to kill me, and they're not going to.
How would you like it if someone called you out of your name? If they called you a B word or any of that, how would you feel?
These people are calling me and all these awful names online. Are you kidding me? Come on. They are the most egregious, most vile, violent people on earth. They are mentally ill and should be in a straitjacket with a hard steel lock on it. Regarding Republicans who might vote for it or vote against it, that's why I'm filing a privileged motion today in just a few moments to make sure that the American people know where Republicans and Democrats stand on this sort of thing. If they want to vote against it, they can. They have to take that back home to their constituents.
Yesterday at the Capitol, and that's what we're going to continue to try to bring you. Okay. So yes, and some of you are asking about what happened in Mississippi, and we have been working on that. And I see there are things on my social media. But I see that you want us to report on it, and we will. We're going to give it to you at 5 o'clock. But this young student, Trey, was found hanging earlier this week at a tree at Delta State University. And so far, they're saying that it doesn't appear to be any sort of foul play. But people are asking for an investigation. And the family of the student, they're pursuing an independent autopsy on this, okay? So the family of a black student whose body was found hanging from a tree at the university campus in Mississippi Delta called for transparency. And in the death investigation that happened on September 16th, recent statements in the case have sparked anger and skepticism on social media because they're saying, hey, what is going on? Why are you saying there's no foul play? The body of DeMartre Trey Reed, 21, was found hanging from a tree in the middle of the Delta State University's campus behind the pickleball courts. It was at 7:05 a.m. local time on September 15th. That's according to university police. Police said that there was no evidence of foul play and ruled the death a suicide. Classes and events scheduled for the school's centennial celebrations were canceled for the day. So there's skepticism around it. The family of Trey Reed is asking for an independent investigation until this all pans out. Okay? An independent autopsy and an independent investigation into his death. We will continue to follow. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be informed without being inundated. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, you can go to donlemon.com and find anything that you need there. So be informed without being inundated. And until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern, live for Lemon Live at 5, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you.